If it costs me a piece to keep you around, then that's entirely too expensive. Like, I am not in the business of paying for someone else's comfort with my sanity, for making people feel better than they need to around me simply by sacrificing me for them. The reality is that we have to care for people, we have to love people, but we also have to care and love ourselves. We have to stop sitting here trying to beg people to stay in places that they don't want to be in, or lose our sanity, lose our well-being, just so somebody can stay in that place or feel comfortable around us. Listen, if it costs me my peace, if you're making me have to struggle just to be happy near you, you can go. You can leave. I'm not interested in convincing people. I'm not interested in being extra. And for a lot of us, we tend to fall into this habit of breaking parts of us so that other people can feel whole. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't love people and that you shouldn't care and that you shouldn't pour into people, because you should. That's a natural thing. In fact, you actually feel happier when you do this for people. But there's a difference between pouring into people and then being robbed. There's a difference between loving and caring for people and never being loved or cared for yourself. We can't keep going into these places for these people that will never go in for us. And unfortunately, we keep robbing our own peace simply to keep other people happy. It's not worth it. The cost is not worth it at all, because you are going to hate you trying to get them to love you. You're going to hate you trying to get them to stay. You're going to hate you trying to get people who don't care about you to care about you. It's okay to allow people to walk away. It's perfectly fine to let people do their thing that they need to do to show you where they want to be. Because at the end of the day, what are you gaining from this? Like, are you authentically happy with the relationship, with the dichotomy that you have between this person? It's not fair to you to lose who you are just to keep them there. Yes, we should want peace. We should want people to be happy. We should want to love people. But there's a limit to that. There's a limit to how much you can ever give and have that. And the reality is that for a lot of us, sometimes it's a fear of losing them. Like, we think that if we are more of what they're already not valuing, we think if we give more into the situation, that we're going to be able to actually get the thing that we're imagining, or we're going to not lose them. But I don't think losing a person that makes you feel like you're at war is bad. That's actually not a bad thing. You have to realize that if you consistently have to be in a battle to be around someone, that then there's something else there. That there's something that isn't healed in them, something that isn't healed in you, something that you two just can't be around each other. You might have a season where it made sense. You might have a time frame in your life where, it was worth sacrificing certain things, but at some point you have to realize that it's not valued at the price that you're paying. It's not worth being in a constant war just to try to win someone's attention. It's okay to lose people. And this is the scary part of life, that we think that we have to consistently have everybody in every stage. No, not everybody is meant for every stage. The reason a lot of people don't develop and don't grow is because they are staying around people that don't fit the chapter they want to be in. They're staying around people that don't satisfy the things that they need for them to be a better version of themselves. You are letting people rob you of your peace, your time, your growth, simply because you want them around. And I know it hurts to think about that you have to lose people, that you have to let people go, but they're not serving you. They're hurting you. There's no value in that. And you can love people from a distance. You don't have to have them directly invested in your life. Another reason is that we seek validation. We think that if we sacrifice our peace, that these people are going to love us, or we're going to validate us, or going to make us feel better about ourselves. Where have they done that? What part of you being less of you, what part of you loving you less, what part of you doing less of the positive things that you need is ever going to sit here and actually make them validate you? They haven't, and they won't, because they themselves are struggling with that. They themselves don't validate them, so how can they ever validate you? You are now giving away your peace for somebody that doesn't give it back to you. Another reason we feel like we have to keep people that are toxic, that are not peaceful to us, is because we think we have an obligation to them. The only obligation that you have in this world is to you. You are literally the only obligation you will ever have. You have to worry about you. You have to worry about your girlfriend. And again, I just don't mean like don't care, don't love people. I mean care and love about you enough. It's that whole analogy of a plane, right? When you're in a plane and it's going down, that the mask comes off. The first instructions they give you is to put the mask on yourself, because you can't help anyone else if you are dying. And this is what's happening, that a lot of us are struggling to breathe, and we're worrying about putting other people's masks well, we can't breathe ourselves. You can't help anyone if you don't love you enough for you. But if you keep pouring into these people that are robbing you of your peace, you're never going to. You feel like you have an obligation to save them or to be loyal to them or to be in their lives or for them to be in your life. They're not. There is no obligation there. The only obligation you have is to you. It's to the things that are part of your life, that are things that are going to help you grow, that are going to be the things that are catalysts for everything else. It doesn't value you anything for you to continue to be obligated or to be loyal to people that have shown you that they don't actually care about you, that they care about you in convenience, but not in reality. And we're just going to hurt ourselves trying to be more of this. It costs you so much to have the wrong people in your life. Like, you devalue yourself for attention. You're shrinking your capacity for peace, for joy, for connections. You're making yourself so much less because you think that it's worth the price of having them there. It's not. And at some point, we need to come to that reality. We need to start setting actual boundaries and creating detachment from people. And detachment hurts, right? Because there's stages that we have to literally cut things off with people that we've become so used to. We've become so, attached to. It's going to be painful to remove. But if you don't have these boundaries, if you don't have this detachment, what's going to happen is at the end, they're just going to continue to be leeches, to suck off everything that you have. You need to learn that it's for your own good. That it's not about being mean, but it's about being clear. It's learning that I love me so much that I won't let you make me hate me. Because what happens at the end of the day is that we end up hating ourselves because we pour in so much to toxic places, to toxic people. We let them rob us of our peace, that we look back and we just hate the person we've become. It's not about being mean. It's about being actually good to you. It's about being fair to you. And there's so much power in being able to detach. There's so much power in knowing that you don't have to remain in a place. You have to regain that. You have to learn to love you. You have to know that you're worthy of peace and of love, and you don't have to be in a war zone. What happens with toxicity, sometimes we think that is normal. Like the cortisol in our body, the stressor hormones, that we're so used to having that so elevated that we think that this kind of relationship is normal and healthy, and it's not. It's actually terrible. You shouldn't feel like you have to be at war or in a constant fight just to feel normal. That's just not okay. You have to learn to love you so much and ask yourself, is this thing really bringing me peace? Like, am I genuinely happy in this? And if you're not, if it's a constant war, then you have to do something about that. Yes, it sucks to pull the Band-Aid off, but once the Band-Aid's off, you're letting that get air. You're letting it breathe. You're letting it be real. But until you do that, you'll consistently remain in a place where you're selling your peace for attention, where you're not giving yourself the freedom to be fully you, or you're creating something that allows people to just stay in whatever they want, to act however they want, to do whatever they want. And that's not the power that people deserve from you, that deserve to take from you. There's this quote that I heard once that said, your present situation isn't your destination. Like, where you are now, the things that you're going through, the struggles that you're in this moment, that's not who you are, and it's not defined by your whole life. And there has to be a moment of change. And when you make that change, when you decide that enough is enough, when you decide that this next stage of me is the best stage of me, this is when things actually fully change. When you cut things off, cut people off, cut that toxicity off that has been robbing you of your peace and the place that you belong, that's when you move forward. Those people that were in those stages can't go to the next stages. You have not been the full you because you've been attached to people that can't help you grow, that they have been robbing you of peace. They have been robbing you of your time. They have been robbing you of your love. But the moment that you realize this, you realize that where you are, the present situation that you're in, isn't your final destination. You're not confined by that place. You're not staying there. You have to make a decision. Is it worth keeping people that are robbing you of your peace just to keep them around? Is the price of attention from them worth your peace?